He's here with a look at the legal ramifications of this. And Dennis Michael Lynch is here. He's a documentary filmmaker who's heading down to this area tomorrow and has made 2 films about this issue. We begin with the judge. This is incredible and so undercovered. You saw the numbers. Last year we had 6,500 children come into this country illegally. This year they're projecting 90,000 is the projection by our government officials. They're saying it could be as high as 150,000 children who are going to come across that southern border this year alone illegally. We can't handle them. And the question is, why? Suddenly, why?
Well, I don't know why, but I know how. Remember when the president boasted he has a telephone and he has a pen and he knows how to use them? He could stop all of this with a telephone and a pen. Instead, the president of the United States personally and directly caused this with a telephone and a pen.
How?
When he said to illegal immigrants, if you do the following things, and he ticked off 13 different things, I will not let the government deport you. He made up those 13 events that they could do to avoid deportation. When he sent that signal to presently residing in the United States of America illegal immigrants, he also sent a signal to people in South and Central America. Send your children here and they won't get deported. And then you'll have an excuse to come here to be with your children and you won't get deported. Megyn, the president has taken an oath to uphold the law. He has some leeway in enforcing the law, but when what he does prevents the law from being enforced, when he does the opposite of what the law says, he's not doing his duty.
They say that in 2012, President Obama issued this directive called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals.
Right.
It allows illegal immigrant children who come to America to defer their deportations. But that will only apply to children who were here as of 2007. Apparently, these children didn't read the law, Judge.
Apparently,
the administration wants to blame them for not understanding that policy.
The administration ought to know that no one watching this television show now, and you're the only one breaking this, will believe that it is the fault of these children. It is the fault of the federal government of the United States of America, the executive branch, which is run by President Barack Obama, for not enforcing the law. His duty is to enforce the law, and that means discouraging illegal aliens, not encouraging them.
Dennis, you have been, in your defense, sounding the alarm. We just had you on a few weeks ago, and you said that the Southern Border Patrol was overwhelmed, that they weren't going to be able to, they were going to collapse, given the influx of children in particular. And now we have the pictures, which were leaked. They were leaked, and now the Border Patrol has been told, don't take your phones, no more pictures. They're trying to shut them up. You've been raising the flag on this, and now we see the evidence. It's as bad as you warned.
It's about to get worse. It's about to get worse. I told you that the intelligence that I was being given was saying that right now it would be worse than it was 2 weeks before. Entire villages are emptying out and coming from Central America through Mexico to the United States. They will be hitting in the next couple of weeks. What you are seeing right now is the tip of the iceberg. We are not going to be able to handle this. We can't handle it now. You're seeing children being thrown on the floor, not because we don't care, but because we just don't have a way of processing these children.
Right. We're not prepared for this.
Right.
The Border Patrol can't handle it. What I said in the introduction is true. They're literally putting them on buses and sending them to Phoenix and then saying, just get off at the Greyhound, and hopefully you'll report back in 2 weeks with ICE.
Now, what the judge said is correct. The fact that these people are coming over saying, hey, America wants us. We're allowed to stay, and there's programs that are going to allow us to stay. The other thing that's happening as well is when they're crossing over the border, they all have the same narrative, and that is the drug cartels were going to kill me.
Well, that's what the administration is saying. They're saying that they're fleeing terrible and unprecedented crimes.
Right, as if drug cartels have just sprung up out of nowhere. Please, it's not the case. I've been saying it for years, not just on your show. This is the #1 issue facing our country, because in 3 or 4 months from now, these kids are all going to be going to school. And it costs 50% more to educate these children than it does mine or yours.
Already the administration is asking for upward of $2 billion, $2 million just in legal fees, right? But $2 billion total to handle this situation. And the question is, Judge, now does this come back politically in a year where the president in late May just deferred more executive action, delaying deportations because he was under political pressure not to do it from Republicans, and they're trying to get illegal or immigration reform through? this won't help the case.
No, not at all. This may energize the president's base for the November elections, but this will totally alienate independents and middle Americans who will have to pay for this. And I'm glad you mentioned legal fees. The government provides food, shelter, clothing, health care, education, and free lawyers to these kids. This is the same government that dumps them on a street corner. If any of us dump children on a street corner, we would be arrested for child abuse. The federal government is doing it today.
You raise that point. I see these pictures of these children, and you cannot help but think of the Superdome after Katrina and how people were living in their own filth. And there are real risks politically, obviously, to the administration here, but there are health risks right now that we don't seem adequately equipped to handle.
Let me go back to what I had said. These kids are going to start going to school. When they come over the border and they're in these detention centers and then put on the bus, nobody's checking them for diseases. These people are coming.
They say they are checking. They're trying to get vaccinations up to date with these children. It's one of the reasons why it's such slow going, and FEMA's in charge.
Oh, Megan.
That's what they say.
Megan, I'm going down there tomorrow, and I'll confirm what I'm about to tell you right now. The Border Patrol agents, the ones who I speak to, are just, they don't know what to do anymore because they want to protect America. At the same point as they see these kids laying on the ground, they are at a loss for words. Here's the thing you're not thinking of. We're talking about the pictures that you see. The Border Patrol only catches about a third of people who come across. The other two-thirds are just getting through. Don't you understand? What you're seeing is not really what's happening. It's just only the pimple. I promise you this. This is going to transform this country. He doesn't need a pen, and he doesn't need a phone. All he needs is a blind eye. And that's exactly what's taking place right now.
We're going to follow up on this tomorrow night with you as well. Thank you both so much for being here.
You're welcome.